look at the future then. So next we have the Bola Pinot Grigio 2016. This one, actually I just found this in the fridge, so I don't know how good this is. So hopefully it's still kosher and we're good. I actually found out, I don't know about white wine, but I was actually, this is a shout out to the Wine Works over in Cherry Hill. I think the girl's name was Anka that helped me out. He was saying that whatever the date of the wine is, you want to add at least 5 to 6 years to it before drinking it.
Oh.
So if it's like a 2016, it will be 2021. And certainly that's like for the wines in the US, but if you go to say like Italian wine, sometimes it goes up to 10, 20 years before you actually want to drink it, which is interesting. I had no idea.
No, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Well, cheers to our present.
Cheers.
Interesting.
A little sweet.
Mm-hmm. I think white wine is Pinot Grigio is usually typically a little sweeter.
Mm-hmm. It's usually a good starter wine.
Yeah.
You know, when you're younger, really getting into them.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I've, become more and more of a wine drinker, I've gotten drier.
Dry. Okay.
Mhm.
So what's your favorite, would you say?
I like Malbec.
Malbec. Okay.
That's definitely my favorite red. White, I would say Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
But then Prosecco is...
Up there, above all that.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to get you into Scotch one day.
Ooh. I can say that I've never tried any Scotch.
Okay.
Or gin.
Gin, I used to drink gin. I used to do a mixed drink, but as a college thing. So I used to mix gin with grapefruit, with fruit punch, and a splash of grenadine. So it tasted like a fruit punch, and the grapefruit juice it kind of gets the bitterness, mixes it. Anyways, I sound like an alcoholic. But yeah, I was gonna say Scotch-wise, a lot of times, not all the times, you get what you pay for. So if you do low-end Jack and stuff like that, I was like, I can't understand why anyone ever wants to drink any type of whiskey. And then a friend of mine introduced me to the higher end. I was like, oh, okay, this is way different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be open to trying it. I've always steered clear just because I don't really drink, straight alcohol like that.
Okay. Well, the key is sipping. So you actually want to sip that slower than wine for the most part.
Okay.
So you can actually really taste it. So there are certain ones where if you add a couple of drops of water, it actually opens up the flavor completely. Because sometimes it's very dense and it's very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Little sips here and there. Like if you take shots, you're done for. It tastes nasty if you take it 2 shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, sorry. So let's talk a little bit about the present, what we're working on. Kind of some of the positive and negatives of, since you've been getting coaches, with me as a business coach. I know you had a personal trainer as well. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about, current things that you've done, some of the success stories that you've had, some of the challenges that you still have, and let's just take it from there.
Okay. So I would say one of the biggest challenges that I had was not knowing my numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, what my bottom line should be.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of just winging it,
Mm-hmm.
and we could because we had a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
But then once COVID hit, I still had people that needed to work, so I still had all this overhead. But I needed to figure out what my minimum charge should be.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know how to get there. I'm not very. Numbers aren't my thing. Accounting. I'll do what I need to, but to really look through them and figure it out, it's not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I actually mentioned it to I said it out loud. I really need a business coach.
Mhm.
And then literally the next day, do you remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, it was like this.
Well,
this
I didn't
crazy.
realize it was actually the next
very
day.
next day, you approached me at a job and said, by the way, I also do business coaching, and I just took that as a sign, like this just. I mean, how can you not?
Mhm.
I literally said it out loud. So yes, then we started, and we figured out our bottom line, which was huge. To not be in a negative week to week, and getting anxious, and I never wanted to be where I was. And so I wanted to be proactive about it, figure out what it would be, our number, and then kind of work backwards to getting back to where we were. I mean, even better than where we were. So I would say that was a huge help. Also, coaching me how to be better in sales. I went to college for psychology. I didn't go to college for business or anything. So, I kind of just did what I knew and what I was comfortable with, talking to people. But as far as like a sales standpoint, that just wasn't me.
Well, I mean, sales is a lot of psychology, but the good thing is you did the smart thing. You know where your weaknesses are, and you hired someone to help you compensate for that. So that's a big lesson right there, because a lot of times people will have a pride issue and would say, okay, there's no issues with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But what you did is you evaluate the situation logically. You didn't look at it as an offense or anything. Then you look like, okay, this is my job. I need to find all the tools. I can't keep on losing money, and you found the tools, which is phenomenal. You hire a bookkeeper. You hired me as a business coach. Your business definitely looks a lot better right now. And at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. That's why there are certain professionals out there that can help you out. And the big part is we went through the numbers, and numbers is key. But what is true for numbers for 1 month isn't necessarily true for another month. And I think we kind of figured that out today too, right? Like it's a big difference as well.
When we first started, we had 5 crews. And when did we start? How many months ago was that?
About two to 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, I think, roughly.
2.5 months ago. So with everything changing, unfortunately we lost 2 crews, and now we're very short-staffed. So our numbers changed drastically. A lot of our overhead was the same, as far as, car insurance and cell phone and all that, but our payroll took a huge hit. The ability to take on jobs took a huge hit. So to be able to know our numbers, to make the adjustment, was just really helpful.
And that's huge. And I think the big part is like what you originally thought the number was and what was being charged. And we can say give a rough hypothetical range that it was. Let's just say originally it was $120 to $140 an hour that you're charging people or whatever it was. You realize, okay, to meet bare minimum requirement, it was really $150 to $170. And I know it wasn't an easy conversation for the existing clients, and then we figure out, okay, it's actually more than that now. Now, can you maybe have tell the audience where, how did you have the conversation with the existing clients, letting them know, okay, all right, we had to, raise the price. What kind of strategy did you use? How did you communicate that with them? And what was the response?
I would say honesty was, how I went with it. I told people, hey, our overhead went up, and if we don't raise our prices, we're going to go out of business. And, for the most part, I would say 90%, people understood. People knew that everything was going up. Of course, some customers, they weren't able to take on the extra expense, which I completely understand. But, we had no choice. let's raise our prices. But I would say overall, it's been good feedback.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Now, we went through a couple of different strategies in the past, like for your business, like, where to go out for business, or, where we should focus. What would you say is the biggest game changer for you? And what is something that helped you make your life a lot better too?
Game changer as in where to find the new clients, or
More of a game changer in the sense like it essentially changed your life.
I'd say just reaching out for help. That was probably the biggest game changer. I feel like I've been a control freak all my life, and especially with business. With it being my mom's business and me having that, I guess, maybe a pride issue. Like nobody could, live up to her standards. And so I just wanted to always make it perfect. But really it was just hindering me from actually growing by being a control freak. So I would say what the biggest game changer was hiring people for help. And now looking back, like all the different things that I did, my own bookkeeping, my own inventory, it's just kind of crazy.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, she's also being very modest because since we started the whole coaching sessions, this one right here achieved 26 things that she originally thought was impossible, and you did it in 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember what some of them were?
I would say hitting my weekly number.
Okay.
Finding out what the numbers were. Having the hard conversation with the clients. What else?
What about vacations? That was one of our first goals that we talked about.
Yes, I was actually able to go on 2 vacations in the past 2 months.
And you remember where your first goal was?
What?
2 vacations for the year. 1 girls trip and 1 with the family.
Yeah.
And that was a 12-month goal. You achieved it in 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, it was much needed, I would say.
And then weekly scheduling. Weekly scheduling in the sense that you didn't think originally you couldn't see you can schedule out a week in advance.
Yeah. With the new scheduling app that we got, so I took all that downtime from the pandemic where we had 8 houses versus 120 to get into a scheduling app. That took a whole entire weekend. I mean, like a full, I think it was like 15 hours a day, just getting everything in. But now we're in, and being able to schedule out. I don't know if I told you, I was doing it on a whiteboard calendar, like a dry erase.
Okay.
I guess I was very resistant to change, very stubborn, doing everything by hand.
Oh, good.
I'm not very techy, so I'm very resistant to, I guess, just learning all of it. Because my motto is, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well, you know that the model's going to change now, right?
Well, yeah. Well, now that I've actually changed it, it's just, why was I doing it that way?
Then payroll.
Payroll, figuring out, that I was so over payroll. That was huge. During the pandemic, I kept on having to borrow from ourselves, from our account, just to keep us afloat. But then once we started talking and we realized, that's what was putting us in the negative, we were able to fix that. That was a huge game changer.
And how long did it take us to get you from being negative to actually positive?
what, a month?
Less than that.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Wow.
In 2 weeks, you went from negative and having to wait till like a Monday or Tuesday to actually having a full week's worth ready to go by that Friday.
Yeah.
And then a month later, I believe, is when you had a full week's worth ready to go.
Yeah.
I still remember that very first weekend that you.
I remember
how
I
happy
was
you were.
actually able to relax and
Yeah.
not be just so anxious about, oh my gosh, I have to pay everybody. Not only that, but I can't even take a paycheck because I need to pay everybody.
Mhm.
I was able to pay everybody and take a paycheck again.
Yeah. And then able to go out with your girlfriends to have a good lunch
Yeah, I was
and take
able.
care of the
I
bill.
was able to actually relax, which I feel like I haven't done in a very long time.
And then the week after that, or 2 weeks after that, you got some crystals for the office too, because you can actually do it now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very exciting.
And you guys can see the smile there. So this attests a lot to her too, because as a business coach, I can guide people to it, and I can give you advice. But at the end of the day, unless you take action, which I have to commend you for, being able to take action to knock everything out of the park. At the end of the day, it's you. You can get the help, you can get the knowledge, you can get the advice. But if you don't take action, nothing's going to happen. And thank you for being an awesome client.
I promise I'll do more of my homework.
I wasn't going to go there, but, yeah. But it's all good. So, all right. So that concludes, say, the current, present.